I wasn't supposed to be alone with him. The will had only named me caretaker of the estate, not of the man who came with it. But the first night I arrived, he locked the gate behind me with an iron chain. No explanation, just the cold rattle of steel and a look in his eyes I couldn't forget. "This house devours what doesn't belong," he said. And I foolish, curious, reckless whispered back, "Maybe I want to be devoured." That was how it began. But the truth? The devouring wasn't done by the house. The manor loomed at the edge of the forest, 2 stories of stone and shadows. Ivy curled across its bones like veins over pale skin. The kind of place where secrets didn't whisper, they screamed. I arrived with a suitcase and a key. But it was he who opened the door. Tall, silent, hair dark as the wood that creaked beneath our feet, eyes like bruised silver, the kind that saw right through clothing, posture, even lies. He didn't introduce himself. He didn't offer help. He only said, "Follow the rules, and I won't have to take anything from you." I should have run. Instead, I stepped inside. By morning, I knew the rules. Don't enter the West Wing. Don't ask about the cellar. And dinner every night at 8 across from him, at the long table where no one else sat. That was it. No Wi-Fi, no phone signal, just the sound of clocks ticking like heartbeats. But I obeyed. For a time, the first dinner was quiet. He watched me eat, didn't touch his food. His gaze burned like candlelight, not warm, just consuming. I tried to speak. He raised a single finger. "I didn't ask you to fill the silence," he said. "I only asked you to sit in it." I swallowed my words and my fear, but somewhere under that, something else stirred. Excitement. On the third night, I spoke anyway. What happened in the West Wing? He put down his knife, slowly, deliberately. "You want answers," he said, "but you haven't earned them." And that night, my door didn't lock. Not because it couldn't, because he didn't let it. The floorboards outside creaked once around midnight. Then again, at 2. I didn't sleep. I didn't want to. I started finding notes. In the library, the kitchen, tucked between the pages of books I hadn't touched. One said, "Curiosity isn't a sin, but it does have a price." Another, "I hear your footsteps when you wander." And the last, "I've already forgiven what you're planning to do. Just know I'll take something from you in return." I thought I was in control, but he was already inside me. On the 7th night, I broke the rule. I opened the door to the West Wing. Dust. Cold. Silence like a scream that had lost its voice. The paintings were all covered, but one had the cloth torn, just enough to see a face beneath. My face? No, not mine, but close enough to know it was meant to haunt me. Then I heard him behind me. "You just made things harder for both of us," he said. I turned, heart racing, hands trembling. "Why is she in that painting?" He didn't answer. He stepped closer, so close I could feel his breath. And he whispered, "You should have let me be the one to show you." He didn't touch me, but he didn't have to. Desire doesn't always live in skin. Sometimes it grows deeper in control, in tension, in the space between yes and no that neither of us dared to name. That night, he left his door open. I walked past it. Twice. The third time, I went in. His room smelled like firewood and ink, harsh and soft, like punishment waiting to become pleasure. He stood by the window, back to me. Close it, he said. The door? I did. You want to know why you're here? I nodded. He turned. I brought you here, he said. Not the will, not the solicitor. Me. He took a step forward. Because you remind me of something I lost. Another step. Because I wanted to see if I could possess it again. I should have been afraid. But all I could think was, take it. Take everything. He brushed a strand of hair from my face. Do you want me to stop? He asked. I shook my head. And with that, the dam broke. He didn't kiss me. He devoured me, like someone starving, but still savoring every second. His hands stayed on my neck, my back, never where I thought they'd go. It wasn't about flesh. It was about power and surrender. My knees gave out before I could speak again. He caught me, lifted me, carried me to the chair by the fire. Not the bed. Never the bed. This isn't about comfort, he said. This is about undoing. And God, did I want to be undone? The next morning, I woke with bruises I couldn't explain. Not on my skin, in my soul. Everywhere he touched, he rewrote. I wasn't just in his house. I was his. And I wanted more. But then it changed. On the 10th night, he didn't come to dinner. The cellar door was ajar. I followed the sound low, rhythmic, like breathing. And I found him, on his knees, whispering her name. The woman in the painting. His wife, dead, gone, but not forgotten. He saw me, didn't flinch. Now you know, he said. She died in this house. I couldn't let her go. I stepped into the room. You're not holding on to her, I said. You're holding on to the part of yourself that died with her. He looked up, and for the first time, he looked weak. I don't want to lose again. I knelt beside him. You won't, I whispered. But you do have to choose. He touched my face. Soft, scared, and then said, close the door. He didn't mean the cellar door. He meant the past. We left that room together. And that night, he took me to the bed for the first time. Not to conquer, to belong. No games, no rules, just silence. And the fire between us. In the morning, he didn't lock the gate. He left the key on the table. I stared at it. Freedom. But I wasn't running. Not anymore. I picked up the key, walked to his room, and placed it on his pillow. When he woke, he found me sitting in his chair by the fire, reading the journal I knew he meant for me to find. Inside, one sentence circled again and again. The ones who stay after the darkness are the ones worth burning for. That night, at dinner, I reached across the table and took his hand. No words. Just this. I had stayed, not because I had to, but because in his ruin, I had found myself